What happens when the family you prayed with turns out to be the one you should have prayed for? Tamela Mann, the voice that lifted millions, the gospel queen who sang us through pain, was fighting for her life. And no one saw it coming. Not until her daughter, Tiffany, lit up the internet with a truth so raw it stopped the world. At 2 a.m., a single notification changed everything. Tiffany Mann is live. And what she revealed, oh, it wasn't just gossip. It was a spiritual earthquake. Ready to hear what broke the gospel world apart? Let's dive in. Why would a daughter go live at 2 a.m. shaking with fire in her eyes? Tiffany Mann didn't plan this. She wasn't ready for the cameras, the comments, the chaos. Her hair was messy, her eyes red from crying, and in her hand? A tiny Bluetooth speaker that held a secret bigger than any gospel stage. "I've been quiet too long," she whispered, her voice trembling, not with fear, but with rage. She pressed play and the world froze. David Mann's voice, her own father, crackled through the speaker, cold as ice. "Tamela was never meant to survive. Jackie, you knew that. You signed off too." The comments exploded. "Excuse me?" He said, "What? This can't be real." But Tiffany wasn't playing games. She stared into the camera, tears pooling, and said, "They didn't just betray her. They tried to erase her." And then she held up a piece of paper that made everyone's stomach drop. What was on it? How do you convince a woman who's been singing God's praises her whole life that she's losing her mind? Tamela Mann was no ordinary woman. She was writing albums, touring, lighting up stages just weeks before she collapsed. Her voice? Strong enough to shake church walls. Her spirit? Unbreakable. Or so we thought. Tiffany waved that paper in front of the camera, her hands shaking. "This," she said, "is a prescription form. Signed by Dr. Jackie Lewis. Heavy sedatives. Dated 3 weeks before my mom fell apart." She laughed, but it was bitter, hollow. "Dementia? My mom was planning her next tour, not forgetting her own name. They gaslit her. Made her think she was fading when they were the ones pulling the strings." The comments were a wildfire now. "Lock him up, that's evil." Tiffany's voice cracked. She wasn't sick. They made her sick. But what did David mean when he said, "The empire stays ours"? What happens when the preacher's lies are louder than his sermons? David and Tamela Mann were gospel royalty. Their love story? A beacon for every churchgoer dreaming of faith and family. Together, they built an empire. Music, TV shows, sold-out tours. David preached loyalty from the pulpit, Tamela sang redemption, and we believed every word. But that second audio clip Tiffany played? It wasn't a sermon. It was a confession. David's voice, calm and calculated. "As long as she's silent, the empire stays ours. If she wakes up and talks, we lose everything." The internet lost it. This ain't gospel, this is greed. Fans who danced to their music now felt sick. Tiffany leaned closer to the camera, whispering, "You called this a ministry?" "No, Daddy. This was a business. And Mama was the collateral." But who was the woman David trusted to pull this off? Who was the doctor willing to trade a woman's life for a paycheck? Jackie Lewis wasn't just a friend of the Manns. She was their insider, their gatekeeper, the one who smiled in Tamela's face while signing her fate. Tiffany's live didn't hold back. "Jackie forged the diagnosis," she said, her voice sharp. "Sedatives so strong they could knock out a grown man." And when Mama started shaking, forgetting her lyrics, Jackie called it dementia. Lies. The comments screamed, "Arrest her! She's a monster!" Then came the voicemail, leaked to Hollywood Unlocked from a burner phone Tiffany found in Jackie's bathroom cabinet. Jackie's voice dripping with disdain. "We did what we had to do." Tamela was unstable, talking about demons, wanting to shut down the studio. "You think Bet would have kept our show if she went off like that?" Tiffany's eyes burned through the screen. "You drugged my mother to save a TV deal?" And then just like that, Jackie vanished. Her Instagram? Deleted. Her clinic? Silent. But what was she running from? Could a mother's spirit hear her daughter's truth? In a dim hospital room, Tamela Mann lay still, IVs dripping, machines beeping. Doctors said she was gone, lost to the drugs, the betrayal. But when Tiffany's live played on a nurse's phone, something shifted. Tamela's eyelids fluttered. Her fingers twitched. And then, barely a whisper, she mouthed one word: betrayed. The nurse gasped, tears streaming, and turned the screen to Tamela. Tiffany's voice echoed, "I found her voice, and I'm using it." In that moment, Tamela squeezed her daughter's hand. Tiffany fell to her knees, sobbing. "I'm so sorry, Mama, I didn't know." The comments flooded with prayers. "She's fighting, God's got her." Doctors called it a reflex, but Tiffany knew better. Her mother wasn't just waking up, she was rising. But what secret was Tamela holding that made her such a threat? How do you sing about God when your heroes fall? The gospel world was in chaos. Churches that once blasted David and Tamela's duets pulled their music overnight. Fans burned Mann family merch on TikTok, flames licking old CDs while hashtags like "Ours Justice for Tamela" trended globally. Outside Tamela's hospital, protesters held signs. "Tamela deserved better. Arrest Jackie now." Radio hosts scrapped their Sunday playlist, calling it the gospel assassination. And then came the anonymous leaks, former staffers from the Mann's production house spilling years of secrets, NDAs, mistreatment, Tamela's slow isolation from business decisions. One post read, "I thought she was forgetting things, but now it makes sense. They pushed her out." The streets were screaming, but Tiffany wasn't done. She posted a cryptic story. "You think that was the only recording? Buckle up." What did she find in Jackie's bathroom that could make this even worse? What's worse than a betrayal you can hear? Tiffany didn't go live again. Not yet. But an anonymous tipster dropped a 17-minute phone call to Hollywood Unlocked, and it was a dagger to the heart. David's voice, crystal clear. "You should have stuck to the plan, Jackie. We paid the doctor off. You had one job." Jackie snapped back. "Don't blame me, David. Tiffany started digging. She was supposed to be on our side." David's voice dropped low. "She's weak, just like her mother. If she doesn't die, we both go down." The internet collapsed. Church elders who'd defended David for decades sat silent. Gospel stations wiped his songs like they never existed. Tiffany walked into First Sanctified Baptist Church in Houston, all black, no makeup, and spoke from the pulpit where her father once preached. "My mother sang about God, but she lived with the devil," the congregation gasped. She held up a vial labeled with Tamela's name. This is what they gave her. Not vitamins, sedatives. And then she dropped the final bomb. The real doctor they fired? He said Mama showed no signs of anything. Was justice finally coming? Tamela Mann didn't just sing gospel. She was gospel. Her voice carried us through pain, through loss, through Sunday mornings when hope felt far away. And now, in that hospital bed, she was humming again. Tiffany sat beside her, holding her hand, singing "Take Me to the King," the same song Tamela belted when Tiffany was a little girl in the front row. And Tamela hummed back, soft but steady. The nurses cried. The doctors didn't understand. But Tiffany knew. Her mother woke up because the truth set her free. This wasn't just a scandal. It was a reckoning. David Mann didn't just fall from grace. He was dragged out of it, exposed as the man who'd rather silence his wife than lose his empire. And Jackie? She wasn't just a doctor. She was a puppet master, pulling strings to keep Tamela down. But Tiffany, she broke those strings. She shattered the lie that gospel is always good, that faith can't be faked. Federal investigators are circling now, whispering about medical fraud, conspiracy, maybe worse. David's gone quiet. Jackie's gone missing. But Tamela? She's still here fighting, humming, living. So what do we do when the gospel we love turns out to be a stage? We speak. We share. We fight for women like Tamela, who gave us everything and got betrayal in return. Drop a heart for Tamela. Share this if Tiffany's courage moved you. And subscribe, because this story, it's not over. Not by a long shot.